LiberalViewer presents.
So, comprehensive immigration reform died after it was passed by the U.S. Senate. The House of Representatives never brought it up and brought up almost nothing on immigration. And so President Obama said last June that he was going to take executive action before the end of the summer that would give some relief to there are 11 million and undocumented immigrants. Some people say even more than that in the United States. And he was going to give relief to maybe 4, 5, 6 million undocumented immigrants where they wouldn't have to worry about being deported, because President Obama has deported more people than any American president in history, from what I understand. President Obama has decided that he's not going to take that executive action before the end of the summer. He's going to wait till after the November elections, although he's not framing it in political terms. And you can hear him explain that to Chuck Todd in the interview Chuck Todd did on NBC's Meet the Press, and specifically try to claim it's not political over in the first clip on the issue I want to show over here.
When we go to immigration, you made a decision to delay any executive action until after the election. What do you tell the person that's going to get deported before the election that this decision was essentially made in your hopes of saving a Democratic Senate?
Well, that's not the reason. A couple of things that I want to say about immigration. Number one, I have been consistent about why this is important. The country's going to be better off if we have an immigration system that works, that has strong border security, that has streamlined our legal immigration system so the best and the brightest who want to stay here and invest here and create jobs here can do so, that families can be unified, and that a system where the millions of people who are here in many cases for a decade or more, who have American kids, who are our neighbors, who oftentimes are our friends, that they have a path to get legal by paying taxes and getting above board, paying a fine, learning English if they have to. So the good news is we have bipartisan support for that. We have a Senate bill that would accomplish that. The House Republicans refused to do it, and what I said to them was, if you do not act on something that's so common sense that you got labor, business, evangelicals, law enforcement, you got folks across the board supporting it, then I'm going to look for all the legal authorities I have to act. I want to make sure we get it right. I want to make sure, number one, that all the T's are crossed.
Looks like politics. I mean, it looks like election year politics.
Not only do I want to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, but here's the other thing, Chuck, and I'm being honest now, about the politics of it. This problem with unaccompanied children that we saw a couple of weeks ago, where you had from Central America a surge of kids who were showing up at the border, got a lot of attention. And a lot of Americans started thinking, we've got this immigration crisis on our hands. And what I want to do is, when I take executive action, I want to make sure that it's sustainable. I want to make sure that
the public's not behind you. You're not taking it. It sounds a little bit like you're concerned the public wouldn't support what you did.
What I'm saying is that I'm going to act because it's the right thing for the country, but it's going to be more sustainable and more effective if the public understands what the facts are on immigration, what we've done on unaccompanied children, and why it's necessary.
Of course, President Obama never really explained how it is the public is going to understand those things more after the election than before the election. And I think I agree with a lot of what he said in that answer about how we got where we are, but the fact that it's not political, I find that a little bit hard to believe, and especially because I'll show a clip reporting that some of the White House sources are specifically telling reporters it is political. And that clip, Senator Marco Rubio back over on CBS's Face the Nation, the really amusing thing about his answer to Bob Schieffer here on whether President Obama had engaged in politics is that he then goes on to talk about how he flip-flopped on his own bill because of politics, but doesn't actually say it's because of politics. You'll see he calls his own bill a one-size-fits-all bill, and his answer accusing President Obama of politics over in this clip.
A little bit about the president's statements over the week on immigration. He was planning on taking executive action on immigration reform because he said the Congress wouldn't do anything. Then we were told yesterday that the president has decided In fact, he will put off any executive action until after the election. White House aides who were briefing reporters on this made no bones about it. They said they were doing this because Democrats, some of them in very tight Senate races, Democratic Senate candidates, felt it was going to hurt their chances for re-election. The president says it's not politics that's behind it. But what do you think? What do you make of all this?
It's definitely politics. But let me say this. I think that we have to deal with immigration. We have a broken enforcement system on immigration. We have a legal immigration system that's outdated and needs to be modernized so we can win the global competition for talent. We have millions of people living in this country illegally, many of whom have been here for a decade or longer. We need to find a reasonable but responsible way of incorporating them into American life. Last year, we tried to do that through a one-size-fits-all comprehensive approach. It didn't work. We don't have the support for that. The only way we're going to be able to address it, and I believe we should, is through a sequence of bills that begins by proving to people that illegal immigration is under control, modernizing our legal immigration system, and then dealing with those who are here illegally. If the president takes executive action, he will make achieving that, which won't be easy, even harder. So I'm glad he's not going to do it, but I'm disappointed he intends to do it anyway after the election, because what he's basically saying is he doesn't want to be held accountable by the electorate in the midterm elections for an action that he knows is unpopular, because the American people don't want to do anything on immigration until they know that the border and the illegal immigration system is secure.
That last part where Senator Marco Rubio is talking about not wanting to be held accountable for an action that is unpopular with the electorate, I think he's kind of talking about his own complicity in the bipartisan Senate comprehensive immigration reform that he helped co-author and now is unpopular with the Republican base. And I don't know what you think, but I think he sounded like someone who's running for president and trying to come up with a new position on immigration that will help him in the primaries. But I want to know what you think. Who has the less coherent, more hypocritical position on immigration reform? President Barack Obama or Senator Marco Rubio? And if Congress continues to fail to act, should President Obama take executive action to give relief to millions of undocumented immigrants who live, work, and raise families in our communities but now face deportation?
YouTube, you decide.